So today I want to talk to you about wet pants. Is it okay to have wet pants during EC or potty training, or is it not okay? Think about it for a second. What do you think? I have a guess for you. I have a guess that most of you are probably going to get this incorrect. We probably think it's not okay to have wet pants. But today I'm going to debunk that myth. It's actually quite all right in some situations to have wet pants. Now, within Montessori, if you're in a traditional Montessori school, your child in the 12 to 18 month class will be put immediately into cotton pants. And one of our Go Diaper Free certified coaches told me years ago that when they're run traditionally, as Maria Montessori intended for them to, children are taken out of diapers in that class, that specific age range, because it's a sensitive period for potty learning. Now, they don't count how many wets they have in a day. They don't hold it against the child. They don't count as the teacher's failing or the child's failing or any of that, or potty training is going terribly. It is literally all a learning experience. So the number of wet pants does not matter in a Montessori classroom. It's the fact that learning is taking place. Now, what kind of learning, might you ask? Physiologically, they're feeling the instant feedback of when I feel this sensation in my belly and I release, my pants get wet. It's cause and effect. It's very basic. And also, because they're doing this in a classroom setting, you've got that social pressure of, I don't really want to be wet around others, but if I'm wearing a diaper, I don't mind being wet, and nobody really knows it's happening. But in cotton pants, it is happening out in the open. So that's a little example from Montessori, which our last show was all about. Now, since wet pants in my book are okay most of the time, and I'll tell you when they're not okay. When they're not okay is when you've gone through the whole potty training process and you've got wet pants every day. That means we need to do the potty training process over again. That has nothing to do with EC. But during EC, we definitely want to use wet pants as an opportunity. It's not do or die. Does everybody get that? It's not make or break. EC does not have to be perfect. If you're trying to make it perfect, please stop. It will not work. So since I'm okay with wet pants, but I also see it as a sign that something might need to change, and we covered that a couple of episodes ago when we talked about how to handle changes as your baby develops. And one thing is changing the backup so you have less wets. What we want to do is to be prepared during this specific couple week or couple month learning process during EC, which is 0 to 18 month babies. We want to be prepared with dry changes of clothes. So I have right here a wet dry bag and some backups. So a wet dry bag, I sell these at tinyundies.com, it has a one pocket for all of your wets when you're on the go and one pocket for all of the dries. It's made out of PUL, for those of you who are not watching this, which is a waterproof material. So you basically carry a bunch of extra backups. So right here I've got a bunch of training pants. You would put in several of these in the dry pocket, which is a smaller pocket, and then leave the wet pocket open. So when you have a wet on an outing, it's not a huge deal. Learning is taking place. You're learning. Your child's learning. It's all good. Relax. But we want to be prepared so that we can be relaxed. Does that make sense? At home, we want to set up a station wherever you keep your potty. And in my book, you can keep the potty wherever you want to, whatever's working for you. But we want to set up a station near that potty station, as part of that potty station even, that has a long full-length mirror, that has a little stool that your child can sit on, and you can help them learn how to dress and undress when there is a wet pants situation. That's what they do in those Montessori classrooms. They use them as a learning experience. So the child will pull the wet pants halfway down, sit on the stool, push them the rest of the way. And really we want to say push them down, and then push them the rest of the way after you're seated. And then we go on the potty, because just because you're wet doesn't mean there might not be more. So let's see, there might even be poop because you let a little pee out because you need to poop. We would allow them a potty-tunity, an opportunity to go potty. And then we would go ahead and have them help to redress. So this station that makes changes easy would have a basket of your dry backups, a little basket for the wets, or a wet dry bag hanging from a doorknob or something. And you would have them grab some dry ones, help them put them on their feet. This is where the Learn undies and the Learn trainers really help, because they've got different colored leg holes. Let me grab some of those. If you don't have these, get some just for this purpose. They would put them down on the ground so bear's looking at them. One hole in the blue, one hole in the gray, grab the orange handles and pull them up to their knees because, again, they're sitting on a stool. Then have them stand up holding onto you or holding, some people will install a bar vertically next to the potty station so they can pull themselves up. And then have them pull the rest of the way up. You'll probably have to assist on the rear, okay? So this is a way that we can use wet pants as a learning opportunity of how we change into dry pants because we want our children to experience dry pants most of the time. We want to make this a learning experience in multiple ways. We don't want to overtalk it, but we want to say, hey, you're wet. Let's go. Take those off and help them do what they can for themselves for the most part. Look at my last episode on Montessori. You'll understand that we're assisting them. We're not doing it for them. And since we're dealing with less than 18-month-olds, we're not going to have that no struggle. We're not going to have that same rebellion that we'll have with a 2 or 3-year-old. So definitely put in the investment of time now, and then you won't have to do it later. So learning experience, this is what happened. Oh, let's try it. Let's see if there's any more. Have them get on the potty and assist them, and then wiping all that stuff, and then have them put them onto their knees, stand up, pull the rest of the way up, and you assist. Okay? And oftentimes, if you have them put your hand in the front and the back, they can pull it better than if they do it on the sides. It just really depends on the age. And I just want to remind you that a process is occurring. You will do better if you are relaxed during this process and just trust it, or you trust me, or whatever you want to do. Trust yourself. Trust in this process. This is part of learning. Your baby is smarter than you will ever know. And I know those of you who do EC already think that your babies are smart and that all babies are smart, but it'll blow your mind if you really knew what was going on in there. When things look like they're going nonlinear and awry, they're actually reestablishing homeostasis. There's learning happening. There's a process happening. Trust in that. Wet pants are okay unless you've already finished EC and you've had dry pants for months and months. And then all of a sudden you get a bunch of wets, or you've potty trained and you get a bunch of wets after successful potty training. Then we have an issue and want to troubleshoot that. In my tiny potty training book, you can go to the end about various types of accidents. If you're potty training, if you're doing EC, you're having a bunch of accidents, and you have my book, go on my book owners forum, let my coaches help you out. Usually, if you go back a couple episodes of my podcast to 197, you want to do a couple of changes like location potty or backup if these accidents are out of nowhere. But again, we're just doing day-to-day EC, and we've got misses as just a part of the regular learning process. You're A-okay. All right? Hopefully this was helpful for you.